There it is.
There we go.
It says we're live.
Sweet. Okay. So question 1.
What do you think of Osher's process for identifying opportunities and building companies? So that was actually one of the first things I noticed after we read the first and like last bit of it, and then we go back to the middle. Like I said, okay, now read the rest of it, and I'm like, whoa. The question, this is like a decision analysis, right? And it's like whether or not he wants to sell out. And I'm like sitting here thinking, all he's ever done in his whole life was sell out. He makes something, he sells it. He makes something, he sells it. I'm like, even before I read that he does that, like now I really think that like that's his whole like that's all he ever does.
And it's like all his past experiences, just like coming up with an idea and like growing it a bit and then selling it to someone who could like take it further than he could.
Yeah, that's kind of what I noticed too. Plus, I don't think he has enough products to start a new company, because it'd take a lot longer to do a startup than to just license it to a different company.
What was your guys's, like, what is your hypothesis for him? Or like, what do you think he should do?
I kind of had one hypothesis and then a second one halfway through. But one was he should sell out. And the second one was he should sell out to this person. Because it's kind of questions, okay, well, like what if I sell, who do I sell to? And so, yeah. So my hypothesis was to sell out.
Yeah, that's my hypothesis too. It was more specifically geared towards P&G than any other company based on what I looked at. But I would just go for selling out. That's what I decided.
What'd you say?
I did a little bit different. Maybe I was just thinking about it differently, but it seemed like from what he was saying is he was tired of having nothing to do and he wanted like something to do every day, and he didn't want it to grow super big. He wanted it to be kind of a simple thing. And so I said that he should just try like starting up the company and running it, because he could always end up selling it later. But he's looking for something to do now, and that was doing well enough that even if he wasn't competing as like big, it gave him something to do, and it still was doing super well. So he was still getting money and it was keeping him busy, and he like all his mistakes from the past that he listed were kind of like having too many partners, so he wasn't sure if he wanted to do that, and hiring too many people. And so I kind of put that just like keep it a small company and try to start doing it that way, because he already had connections and he was more reliable looking after all his other past experience.
No, like that was actually a conflicting thing for me too, because like he wants to keep it simple, but at the same time he doesn't have the resources to fix the problem.
Shipping. Yeah, like I know it said that he had a shipping issue, like he wouldn't be able to keep up with the demand.
The water, because water was getting into the toothbrush.
Yeah, there was like issues with the actual product.
Yeah, and so I was thinking, that's a lot of R&D, and if he's going to keep it under $6, like he's not going to be able to do it by himself. He's going to have to spend a lot more money redeveloping the product. So, that was actually my biggest issue, was like keeping it small and simple, but keeping it cheap.
Yeah.
You can't have one. You can't have both.
Well, there's also the patent issue too, because the patent does expire. I think for this case, we got it in 2001. I think that's what it said. But there are still ways to get around a patent. So my thoughts were that companies were already creating something similar to what he was making. So it'd be hard to compete with other companies if they did come out with something else.
Yeah, that's true, because even if you changed one part of the toothbrush, then the patent no longer applies. I see that Levi just texted us and said he got the invite for 7 p.m.
Yeah, okay. I just told him to ignore it, because that was the learning curve that I was trying to make the invite. So disclaimer to our teacher. We're still trying to get Samuel in. He might just have to chime in later. So we're going to send this video to him too and see if he can just input his own video in regards to what we're saying. So, yeah. But anyway, so moving on to number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep in contact with him as we go. So, who is John Osher? How does he come up with ideas?
I feel like that ties in a lot to the first part of what we already kind of started talking about. Like, he is like an entrepreneur. Like, that is what he does. He comes up with ideas and then sells it and comes up with a new idea.
Yeah, I don't know how he actually comes up with them. I mean, did it really say like, does he have a process of coming up with them? It sounds like he just like, it'd be nice if we just had this. Then he just does it.
I know it said like when he sees a need for it. So like, for example, he like saw that all these girls were wearing earrings. So he like created an earring store. And then he
Like
said,
an actual earring store.
yeah. And then he came up with the idea of doing like a spin pop because he saw an idea that someone kind of already had. And he's like, that'd be cool if we did it for this. And he like tweaked it.
Yeah, because the light up pop came first, and then it was the spin pop, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then after the spin pop, it like went on a list of things that he had done. I'm trying to remember what other things he did. But it was like
the antique store too.
Oh yeah,
The
antique store, and then the used clothes store.
Yeah, because he saw that was like becoming a trend. So I feel like he gets on like a new and upcoming thing, and then he sells it at its peak, and then like finds a new thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. How does he evaluate opportunities?
Oh, this is number 3.
Oh, sorry, no. How does he? Oh, yeah.
How did he come up with ideas?
Is the spin brush a good idea? And how does John evaluate opportunities? Is the spin brush a good idea? I was actually really skeptical the whole time I read it.
Really?
Yeah. Think about how old it is. I mean, that was a while ago,
yeah,
right?
that's right.
And I'm thinking, well, man, I can see how if it's too aggressive. Like I didn't actually personally feel the spin brush. I looked it up, and spin brushes were not $5, $6. Like spin brush heads are like $8, $9. So they've obviously changed since then. But I'm like, maybe if it was too aggressive, it would actually be bad for people's teeth.
Yeah. I feel like at the same time, though, he tried to keep it really similar to how someone would brush their teeth. And if he's getting dentists on board and they're recommending it, then it might do really well. Because I know like a lot of people go to their dentist and ask for recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just an alternative for the more expensive brands of electric toothbrushes. Because it said they're like selling for like $40 to $50 each.
Yeah. And so it would be nice if you wanted that luxury, have an alternative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. The only problem that I had was I lost my train of thought.
See, well, like mine was like how he built it. I don't know how much you guys looked at the schematics for the spin brush, but he like now they all use magnets that vibrate back and forth. Another one that vibrates away from it so that it can vibrate at the top. But this one actually used gears all the way up to the spin brush. The bristles. I'm just thinking, like, how does that work as efficiently? I mean, it's supposed to last up to 3 months that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
a lot of work.
Part of me questions it, just like the quality of it. Like, I think it's a good idea. I just don't know. Like, I know he's going to have to invest in more to get it actually working well. Like, I think it's a good idea. And like the prototypes, obviously, like there were some problems with that. I don't know though. Like, I feel like it's a good idea. I just don't know And at the time, it would seem like new and interesting. So a lot of people might turn to it for just something different. Even if it doesn't last a long time, he's probably going to get a lot of people to buy it.
Yeah, because that's what they said. Like at first, people tried it and they liked it, and so it worked on like, I don't remember how they phrased it, but it worked right when they tried it, so they really loved it. But then it would go bad.
Yeah, and I know that he said like he was like doing like the guerrilla marketing where they were like giving it away for free. And so it's like a lot of people would just like, oh, this one broke, I'll just buy another one. It's only $6.
Mm-hmm. And are we moving on to number 4 now?
Yeah.
Or, okay. So why haven't other like larger companies already done spin brush? I feel like this actually goes hand in hand. The last one, the quality, got together, made a spin brush, and go, hey, look, it works. Let's sell it. But these other companies, they may not be in the industry, but they could taken already years to develop something like this. And they're like, we don't want to put it out, something to go bad and give us a bad name. We want to have a good product right when we make it. And so that it's more.
Yeah, I know it mentioned one of the companies, I think it was, I can't remember which company was already, they'd been working on it for years and they still hadn't released theirs.
Okay, yeah.
And I think it was like the Oral-B, I believe, like that line. They had a cheaper version, but they hadn't released it. And it had been a couple years.
And yeah, always bigger competitions. I did wonder like why they didn't come out with one, because they could easily do it.
Yeah.
Their notes too, like how did Osher develop so many? It did say that it was really successful at first and he couldn't keep up with the demand. He was able to produce a lot. Small like company still has to have sign, and that's going to take dozens of people at least to make it.
He did partner with the Chinese manufacturer.
Oh yeah, so to show them the product.
That's probably why the quality was great.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
that's just my opinion.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, never mind that. I totally forgot I read that.
Even if he did manufacture it in China, it's $6 is still for electric toothbrush.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know what the markup is for the toothbrush because I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make that much.
That was the other thing, because I wanted to focus on how much like profit he was getting from each toothbrush, and it didn't say how much he was buying them for. Like he's selling them for $6, but I don't know what he got them for.
Do I have? I don't know, pull up right now. But yeah, I guess. Oh yeah, I do have a copy of the numbers here, but it's not his numbers. It's just Colgate.
Numbers weren't on there.
Yeah, his numbers weren't.
Because he came in 2000, it was either 2000 or 2000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because these spin brushes were they in the 90s? No.
I thought it was 1999 was like the trial or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was thinking like it does make sense that they're so cheap if they're being. Oh, Levi's here. Hey,
Hello.
Levi.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
Good. 2 sick kids and a sick wife, so
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, go figure.
Okay, so we're just on number 4 of the agenda. So there's 8 points that we're going on. That we're just going through. We're just on number 4 now, and I guess do you have your write-up in front of you? And
I'm pulling it up right now.
okay, and you're not that far behind us, so it's all good.
This is the case analysis write-up, the questions or the actual write-up?
Yeah, we're just having it in front of us while we ask the questions because we have the lesson.
It's
The
like
lesson
group
what covers
questions.
instructions.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Oh, that's trippy. Whoever's talking, it like switches to them.
I'm gonna get a seizure.
I know. I'm gonna try to change that while we're talking here. Anyway, so this is our whole group. All right. So we're still on the question, like, why haven't larger companies already done the spin brush? What do you think about that, Levi?
I think they're trying to preserve their profit margins, and if it's like Gillette or what was the other one? The other big guy. I mean, they're selling a premium product, and they're making money on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of, as far as I perceive, like Gillette, they're not in the, I guess, cheaper sales segment. They want to make more money. They want a premium price product perceived as premium versus like a budget type product, which is how it's perceived as well. That's what I think.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, and we were talking about the same thing too on that one. Like talking about Gillette, they are like have the highest market share for electric toothbrushes, right? I thought they were going to be the best ones to go to. If he was going to sell out, it should be Gillette because they would have the R&D to fix those issues. Okay, we're on number 5 now. Hey, how much is Spinbrush worth? How would you place a value on a company? Oh, Spinbrush as a company, not the actual Spinbrush worth. So do you guys do that? Sorry, go ahead.
Like thinking about it, you have to include like the patent price, I think, like including selling the patent with it. And you have to include like the potential growth that it has. You have like the initial product and a supplier already set up. So I think that places a higher value on selling it than like, oh, I have an idea.
Mm-hmm. So in the videos, our teacher was hinting at like how to find what Spinbrush is actually worth. Did any of you guys go around and do that?
I attempted to, and I just felt like I didn't come to an answer that made complete sense. Did any of you guys figure that out?
I didn't even bother because I didn't think it was a factor in really deciding. It's really worth what the licenses are for, what the licenses are, not the company's worth, because it said in there that I have it here. Oh, it says right here, estimates called for the electric toothbrush market to increase very rapidly in the United States and abroad. Oh, that's the leverage he had. Like, hey, would you like to buy this item from us? Because it's only going to get more popular from here. And then just see how much you can.
Did it ever show like actual numbers for that? Like I included that in my write-up that it was like going to expand rapidly or whatever, but I didn't ever find
like GDP.
Yeah.
I thought it mentioned something about GDP in there.
I didn't see like an actual number, like how much it was like going to grow or they expected it to grow. I just saw that it was like going to like become a lot more popular in the US.
Okay.
I didn't see, I mean, I saw a whole bunch of numbers and I did some calculations to kind of, I mean, really for me, it felt more like a really big guesstimate.
Yeah.
So I took like their ratios for Walmart and Target and then their drugstores. I did like a $5 average sale price at 75% of their total units sold. So 75% is 4,500 units per day, and then it was calculated. I calculated it out basically per day and per year. So combined total that I got was like 11.5 million in revenue per year, assuming that amount. And if you kind of
sorry,
go ahead.
I was just trying to catch up with you here. Are you looking at Exhibit 6? Is that what you're talking about?
Let me pull the case up. The actual case.
Yeah, that's what we just pulled up. I was trying to catch up with you there. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. So I was actually looking at the part of the case where it talks about, let's see. So there's decision
Yeah,
time.
I know what you're talking about.
Page 6. And then it talks about them selling about 6,000 units per day.
Yeah.
And later on,
Oh, yeah.
The ratio of sales and where those sales are at. And it also talks about, basically they say below $5 on average and below 6. So I mean, I can't really, I just put 5 and 6 on an average. So like I said, I said, okay, so they're earning like $11.5 million, I think it was a year on average for my calculation. So at least for a company, like the company value, if I were to say, okay, they're earning $11.5 million now, and I bump that by, let's say 10%, which is obviously super conservative, they're going to experience exponential growth. And then we add in like the patent costs and all that stuff. I mean, I put my value at like 125 to 150. My calculation, I think at 10% was like $150 million over the next 10 years or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guesstimate.
So I had actually a question about that kind of stuff. So I'm looking at the exhibit 6, the GDP and gross domestic product and the percent change in real GDP and all this stuff. Like I didn't really understand it because it was referring to the GDP for all toothbrushes, all spin brushes, all.
It was, I think it's like,
It's not labeled to
That's
say
a good
what exactly it is.
no, it just says the economy and stock market. But of what market? I don't know.
Maybe just the companies that sell anything that's dental related.
I think
So I just after I couldn't figure it out, I was just like, this doesn't help me at all.
I
Yeah.
think they're actually talking about the US GDP because that's the market they were in.
And
That makes sense.
So they're just talking about the whole overall market, not just
we're still live though. So okay, you're not frozen anymore.
oh, was I frozen?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Sorry. Say it again.
So I think they're talking about the overall gross domestic product of the US is where they're getting those numbers. Because if you look at the bottom, it says data compiled from the US Council of Economic Advisors.
So when you
so
say
it's
all
not
of the US,
specific. Yeah,
this is everything the US sells.
I guess.
right. I think so. So I mean,
So how does that help us to the toothbrush industry?
I think it's just well, when I look at this, I don't really care because people are going to buy a toothbrush no matter what because you need it. So it doesn't really, the GDP doesn't really affect a company that's selling toothbrushes. But for like Procter and Gamble, maybe because they sell other products too besides toothbrushes. I can't remember what the other two things are, but it depends on what the company is selling.
I don't think I think it has an indirect. I mean, I don't know if we can actually use it to calculate without a whole bunch more information. Because like if you earn an extra, $20 an hour, the likelihood of you buying a $5 toothbrush versus like a $1.50 toothbrush increases because you have more disposable income. Like,
Yeah.
what the heck are you gonna use? You gonna put it in a savings account? Like, what are you gonna do with it? I don't know. That's how I think they're doing it. I think they're just trying to show overall the economy in general to kind of.
It was like improving.
Yeah.
You could see like the GDP is going up by kind of a lot each year too. So it shows that the market is like actually like growing a bunch. It goes up like 1,000.
Are you looking at the graphs now? Or just the
No,
numbers still?
the exhibit 6 still. Or the yeah.
Did any of you guys use the graphs? I said that it was just to show. It was just to throw you off.
The graphs, right?
Yeah.
I think the market, like seeing the market was somewhat helpful to know if you were going to try and sell the company, who you would want to sell it to.
Yeah.
But
if we go back to
overall,
those 16 points, like Osher said plainly, don't look at how big a company is. Look at
look at the profit. Yeah.
And none of these tell me the profits, just tells me pretty much how big the company is.
That's true. I think the stock price though kind of shows like how trustworthy people are of that company.
Yeah.
Like if I was like willing to pay $100 in stock versus 20, like that shows that I think the company's going to be around longer.
Mm-hmm.
That's
true. That's some golden concern.
Go ahead.
That's all I was gonna say. It's some going concern, so you know they're going to be in there for a while, and maybe they're less likely to give up on a product.
Yeah.
I looked at not just like their overall. I mean, because they have on Exhibit 5A, they have their profitability ratios and stuff. One thing I looked at too is if you look at like when you're looking at different market segments, like a more expensive one versus a less expensive one, typically you're going to sell a lot more product for in the lower market segment, right? More people can afford it, so you have a larger market segment. So I actually looked at their operating ratios. So if you look at like receivables turnover, Procter & Gamble has a 13.3.
Yeah.
Colgate, Gillette, Johnson & Johnson, which are like, I mean, Colgate is 8.3. So I actually said that in my thing, I said that he should sell it to Procter & Gamble, A, because they don't have a competing toothbrush line that would cannibalize their sales, and B, because they could really capitalize it as far as the patents for other products in that range. I mean, you could, a mechanism that basically, you know, has a brush on it and spins. I mean, you could use that for a whole lot of other stuff. You could use it for, you know, like scrubbing, like hygiene. I mean, they have a very big market, obviously, but they could use it for lots of other stuff too, is my point.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like what I was looking at in the operating ratios, like the inventory and the receivables turnover?
Yeah. I never thought to do that, but that was smart. I didn't even think about how if they have competing products, how that would be an issue.
I think the other two guys are frozen, maybe.
I think they might be. I was like, wow, they're really pondering like
I know,
this
like really
of a
thinking about this.
question.
Shoot.
What was your like hypothesis in general?
Okay, and you have to remind, like, sorry, I'm like kind of a little bit lost at the moment. Are we looking
No, you're
at
fine.
like the case analysis, like the one we turned in before, or like the discussion post version of it?
I think we all have like our actual write-up
Okay.
pulled up where like we wrote down what we thought our hypothesis was going to be and
Okay,
like
so
how we
we're looking at
found.
number 7 then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha. So for number 7, I guess my hypothesis was that John should sell the spin brush patent and business to P&G. After it's gained more value, so he can basically sell it for more money, if that's his goal. The hard part is here to me was that I don't know necessarily why he created this product. Like if you look at his past like business ventures and stuff, I don't know if he's just doing it for money, because he's got money. I mean, he sat on a beach for a couple of years, so he doesn't need money.
Yeah.
He just likes doing it. So is the intent to create like a really awesome product and then like hang on to the company and continue to innovate? Or is it to basically make something really cool and then cash out after a couple of years for the money to go on and do something different with that? You know, is it basically like a seed capital company where he just wants to make the money so he can sink it into something bigger? Or is it like his baby, you know, like this is the, you know,
Yeah.
the rest of my life?
I think that's like before you joined, we were kind of debating that because they both think that oh, they said that they got kicked out.
Yeah, I got the text message too. Yeah, we can. We just have to link to, like we just have to put the link in twice, I think, right?
I wonder if I can just add them. Let me see if I can
just add them, invite.
Yeah. Yeah, I just sent them an invite, so.
Okay, cool. Do you guys just all have like the days off during like on Fridays or something?
Yeah, they're back. My classes are kind of weird. Like on Monday and Wednesdays, I go to class from 10 to 7 at night. So Friday is like my one day I don't have classes,
Gotcha.
which is why that, yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, noon, man.
Yeah, and I think everyone else got at like 10:15 or 11 or something, 11:15.
So are we recording this right now?
Yeah, so we just went over what his hypothesis was, and he thinks
Okay.
we should sell to Procter and Gamble or Procter.
Yeah, Procter and Gamble.
Yeah. And then I was just saying
I
that
said
like Gillette, yeah. And we were kind of debating because Levi was saying like he's not sure what this company is like to him. Like, is it just a way to make money and then he's going to move on to something more interesting to him, or is it going to be something he actually wants to keep and like it's like a baby to him? That's what we were kind of talking about. Kind of all debated. Like I was like, well, it sounds like he wants something to do. He got tired of being retired and like he wanted something to do each day. So I thought like he should hold on to it and grow it and see what he could do with it, just because it sounds like he wants something to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but you guys were different, and you said that you think he should sell it.
Well, actually, I went a little further than that. I was saving this till later, but I said that he should sell out, in fact, to keep him employed for so many years.
That's a good idea.
So he could still head that department or section or branch or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
He can still be involved, not retired, and it's still his baby. Is outsourced, I guess.
Yeah, and it kind of takes the pressure off having him have to find like the finances to do all this stuff for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, yeah, sorry, I got kicked earlier. My computer says that I have no internet.
Oh, that is a problem.
This is my phone now. Okay,
Oh.
what was the next question?
I can pull it up. Let's see.
Yeah, I just have it.
What are we pulling up? Sorry.
Just the like
just
group
next
questions
Oh.
to go over.
We just did how much is Pinterest worth,
Mhm.
and how would you put value on a company? Now, what should John do? We pretty much just talked about that.
Yeah, we all kind of said our hypotheses. Yeah.
How do you analyze a case? Does it mean a case or our case?
I think a case. How do you analyze it?
This
Well-
case?
Well,
Or just any case?
well, the first thing I did was trying to figure out like what kind of analysis was it? An evaluation, a problem, and right off the bat, I figured out it was a decision.
Mhm.
That one was kind of easy. Like in the prep reading said, it'll be pretty easy when it's a decision. It'll tell you.
Yeah, like what should John do? Well,
There were some
I think-
problems in there, but we're not focusing on those problems.
yeah, like we're using those problems to come to a decision. I think like that video that they went over like the how to analyze and stuff, like the reading we did was actually really helpful to kind of like step away for a second. Like you read
Mm-hmm.
like background or whatever, and then you read what they want you to do at the end of the decision. And then like, well, based on this, what do I like think initially? And then finding out more information to help you like clarify your decision was helpful instead of like having tons of like information and then trying to decide.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. You guys covered.
Yeah, we
always
guys covered it.
everything.
Like I agree. I would like to add my testimony.
I don't want to repeat what you guys said because then it would be productive. So like,
Okay, so should we just go on to number 8?
Yeah.
Write what question you learned to ask as an entrepreneur. I just kept asking myself, what really matters. Going through like what I would do if I were Osher. Answers, because like what I would do, like he had those 16 points of the things that people who are starting a businesses don't have to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and so I was like, okay, well, obviously he wants to keep in line with those things. You know, I learned to ask, you know, what do you want, not what do I want.
hmm For me, I just kept thinking, like, what is his end goal? Like, what is he hoping to get out of this? And that kind of helped, like, clarify for me, like, in the end, like, these are mistakes he doesn't want to make again. And so obviously that's something he's working towards. So, like, what would help him keep with that?
But to put a twist on that, it's like, what question you learned to ask as if we were an entrepreneur. My biggest thing that I just loved out of his 16 points was his very last one: have an exit strategy. Have an exit strategy. So like he's starting a company. He's probably taken out to get financed to make this stuff, and he's making profit, sure. But let's say he's not making a profit. He's losing money. What's his exit strategy? For a minute that he was just straight up losing money. Definitely sell.
Yeah.
Sell
I think it's important to know when to give up. Like, there comes a point where it's better to just, like, get out of the hole and, like, deep.
I thought it was
like
interesting.
for me. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you first.
Okay. Like for me, like eventually I want to open up my own gym, and I always think about things like, okay, I gotta remember to do that. I gotta remember to do that. But I've never asked myself, have an exit strategy. How am I gonna get out of this?
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is just how will my competitors react? Because you don't want to enter a market where you can't even sell a product. And I think for this case, for John's case, what to do, because there's just too many big players in the market, so it's kind of hard to decide whether to build or to just license and sell out. So I think it's important to pick the right market and at the right time, because if you're going at the wrong time, then you're just going to end up just going bankrupt.
I think the interesting thing, like as far as the exit strategy in this particular instance, is because this guy, I guess, never really had like a product failure.
Not that we know of, at
The
least.
case study said. So for him to be like, okay, how do I get out of here? To me, kind of indicates that he doesn't necessarily want to do this forever. He doesn't want to keep it forever, which is why I recommended he sell. One of the other things I think is that he partners up with P&G, so he can either kind of partner with them and use them as his kind of shield against the other big guys, or again, it kind of sets him up to partner with them initially to give their product a bump, and then they can buy him out when the big guys come to basically compete, where he really isn't competitive against those guys because they're just, I mean, I guess he could be, but they could either infringe on his patents and he wouldn't have enough money to really fight the legal battle. Whereas if he sells off to P&G, he can, you know, they can definitely fight the legal battle, and they're, you know, definitely way bigger than all three of those other companies combined. So
Yeah.
that was my thought.
That's good. All right. That's it as far as those things. Questions you guys wanted to know how we analyzed or did the things?
Did you ask if we want to know how?
Like
Or do we want to go over it more?
Well, those are all the questions. I'm not sure. Is there any other questions that you guys had trouble with analyzing from the study?
I don't think so.
No, it's pretty straightforward. I did have a question for you guys though. At the end of the day, how long were your case studies approximately? Like a page, 2 pages?
I think mine's like 2.
I included some of the pictures and graphs and numbers for the thing. We're going up to about the middle of page 5.
Page 5.
But do we want to end this so we can turn it in and then chime back in? talk about coordinating.
Yeah, at the end it just says that we need to go over a summary for a teacher because he's probably not going to watch this all. It says at the end of your hangout, take time to give a summary, your votes, final decisions, and then we need to provide like the time that we start the
Okay.
summary so our instructor can watch just that.
So did we agree on an end strategy? Before we
I think we all agreed to sell out. Sell out.
So we agree on get out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How much should he try and sell for?
You know, I think that would be depending on, like, I don't have the experience enough to say this, but I think he has experience enough to say however much he can get out of it, of negotiation, and he would have to see how much he can get out of each I mean, as far as we even out, what?
Oh, I was just gonna see if like there was anything on the internet about what actually happened.
Oh yeah.
So my last semester, we had a case study every week, and it was like that. Well, the reason I was asking because this one's kind of set up more like questions, whereas my other case study was like present 3 problems, present 3 solutions. So they were like 6, 7, 8, 9 pages. And this seemed more like a study guide versus a actual case analysis write up. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like also like it kind of depends how much he wants to get out of it, like how the market is actually responding. Like if in the first year he can see that the market's growing a ton, then I think he could try to sell it for more. But if it's like declining, then he can't ask someone to like invest as much.
Holy cow.
Well, I think if he sells early on, he can get a lot more because his current sales and profits, it's showing that the company is in good health. So I think he did beforehand, just doing it early on so he can get as much as possible because it probably is going to decline at some point.
Yeah.
Sell out pretty early on.
Holy. Okay. So, do you guys want to know the actual outcome of this?
He sell out.
Does it
So
tell
I
us?
just Googled. P&G bought Spinbrush for $475 million
Wow.
after thinking, let's see. So they partnered it up with Crest, or under the Crest brand, so Crest branded Spinbrush, if you will.
Uh-huh.
They spent $17 million in 2001. It looks like restructuring it, and they expanded to more than 20 countries.
Wow.
And it does more than $200 million in annual sales. Goodbye.
First year?
Let's see, it says, I'm just reading it, so let's see.
Wait, is Crest?
They came after
Where'd you
P&G
find-
restaged Spinbrush under the Crest brand, expanded distribution, and spent $17 million on 2001 ad support via BCOM3, Groups, DRC, Mascius, Benton Bowl. So yeah, they spent $17 million in 2001, and they've expanded sales to $200 million a year from.
Okay. I'm kind of
Yeah, it was
surprised actually.
Yeah, because like when I go to the store, I see
Crest.
I see
Alright,
Crest
no.
with the like.
Okay, cool. But sell out. Where did you find that, by the way?
I just Googled it just now.
Oh, okay.
I Googled Dr. John's Spinbrush sale, and I clicked on the
These
first link
have
at the
no case
top.
studies.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Okay. But still doing the summary stuff. What else?
Okay, so our summary, I think all of us vote that he should sell out. And final decisions and thoughts. You think he should go with Procter and Gamble?
Yeah, and I said originally like 150 million. I don't know, because they didn't say how much it was growing, so I assumed
I was
a
like,
really conservative growth rate.
yeah. overall, I think like that's what he's good at. He's good at like coming up with an idea, knowing when to do it, and then selling. That's what he's done in the past. And so, based on like what everyone had to say, I think it makes sense for him to just sell it.
Yeah. Okay.
He'll come up with a new idea, get some new things going, keep him busy.
Okay. And as far as questioning on the analysis, the strongest alternative is to selling out.
I put, like, it seems like there's a couple options. He could sell to the initial person he was, like, getting in contact with, which was, I think, Procter & Gamble. But there was also the option he could try to get in touch with other companies. So I put my alternative was to get in touch with other companies and see, like,
Okay.
who would offer him the most and, like, what they'd be willing to do, like, how they'd be willing to work with him.
Okay. I said that his best alternative instead was to spend a little bit more money, fix the product, and then build a bigger factory. And then instead of selling the product directly to stores, he'd become a distributor to Crest, Gillette, to all of them.
Yeah.
And then I said they would all do their own marketing and just blow up in sales.
That's interesting. I didn't even think of that. Just become a wholesaler versus a direct to retail.
Yeah. Then that way he doesn't even have to pick one.
That's smart.
Meant for building a company, but go for a niche market. So go for like said and just have them promote the product. So it wouldn't be like a huge company, but he'd target a smaller market. Said.
I didn't really
Okay.
see it like a good alternative. So I like the wholesale distribution method though. That seems good. It gets the other
evidence. Any other questions we need to establish in our summary?
I think that's it.
Okay. All right. And so Kelly, are you going to be turning this in? Is this only recorded on your end?
Yeah, I can turn it in. I think I just clicked stop broadcast and it already has like a video on YouTube. So I'll just send him the link. It should just be able to let me send a link to him.
Awesome. And I think that makes you our group leader.
Nice.
Figured out how to actually. So yeah.